Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Radha Kund Bihari Radha हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जन शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे मूलं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणम्। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 1, observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, text number 13. ततः शंखाश्च भैर्यश्च पर्णवानक गोमुखा सहसैवाभ्य हन्यन्त सशब्दस्तु मूलोऽभवात्। After that, the conch. अच्छा आपको पढ़ना है ना? पढ़िए ट्रांसलेशन 2.13. Yeah, read.
After that, the conches, drums, bugles, trumpets, and horns were all suddenly sounded, and the combined sounds were uh,
Tumultuous.
tumultuous.
So, Bhishma Pitama has blown the conch shell already, and that signified that he is ready to fight. But another significance which Duryodhan did not understood was that I will fight, but victory will be on Krishna's side. So after Bhishma blew the conch shell, then all the other army warriors they started playing their own musical instruments. So when all these warriors would go for the war, they would not only carry the weapons along with them, they would also carry such musical instruments. Nowadays, I don't think army is going to fight, so they may be carrying some instruments to play. But that time, these warriors were carrying their own musical instruments. So some were having conch shell, drums, bugles, trumpets, horns. So they all played. Okay. So in the army, these musical instruments are used, but the fighters don't use it. Every year when in Delhi 26th January parade is there, so we find the warriors, the parade in the warriors, they are playing the musical instrument, but they are the separate team who play the musical instrument. They are not the fighters. But here the fighters are playing all these musical instruments. Drums, bugles, trumpets, horns like that. And the combined sound was very tumultuous. Text number 14. तथा श्वेतैर्हयैर्युक्ते महति सन्दने स्थितौ माधवः पाण्डवश्चैव दिव्यौ शङ्खौ प्रदद्मतुः. Read the translation.
On the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjun stationed on a
Mic is not functioning.
Hare Krishna.
If it is not functioning, no issue.
Hare Krishna. On the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjun stationed on a great chariot drawn by white horses sounded their transcendental conches.
Okay. So first conch shell was blown on the Kaurava side by Bhishma. After that, everyone blew. Now in the Pandava side, first conch shell was blown by Krishna. Now Bhishma was commander in chief of the Kaurava army. So he was the first one to blow. Krishna is not the commander in chief. Krishna is not even fighter. Krishna is just the chariot driver. As such, chariot driver is not valued much. But still, though Krishna has accepted his position as chariot driver, still his position as the Supreme Lord is not minimized. So this is the significance of Lord Shri Krishna, that though he is accepting his position as chariot driver, still he maintains his topmost position as the Supreme Lord. Commander in chief was Drishtadyumna, but he also understood Krishna is the topmost person here. Unless Krishna, he begins blowing the conch shell, no one else can come forward. Topmost person, just like a group of members have come. So the in that group, the one who is representing the whole group, the most senior person, he will speak first. It's not that any junior person will open his mouth. That is not a good etiquette. So similarly, Krishna, though less in age, there are so many other warriors who are having much higher age compared to Krishna. Though he is not a fighter here, he is not even a king. He was not the king of Dwarika. But still, his position as the supreme person is being understood, and thus he was the first one to blow the conch shell on Pandava's side. So the chariot which Krishna was driving, that chariot was specially given by Agni Dev to Arjuna. And Krishna was personally driving that chariot. And it had white horses. And the conch shell which Krishna is blowing is transcendental. So something, I mean, if we have to categorize, we can categorize anything either as material or transcendental. What is material? Which is deteriorated by the force of time. That is material in nature. Our body is material in nature. All the objects of this world are material in nature. Our buildings, they are material in nature. It deteriorates with time. Temple, it is transcendental in nature. But temple also breaks. Then why it is called as transcendental? Yes, temple breaks, but the activity which happens in the temple, that is never lost. What happens in the temple? In the temple, we are worshipping the Lord. We are glorifying the Lord. We are honoring prasad of the Lord. These activities happens in the temple. We are taking darshan of Lord. So these activities, they are never going to be lost with the effect of time. All the other material accomplishments will be lost. For example, you may be You may have become the richest person in the whole world. It will be lost with the force of time. Even if in your whole life you are the richest person, after your life, you are not richest person. That means all these material accomplishments are lost with the passage of time. But spiritual activities, they are not at all diminished by the force of time. So temple structure may break, but the activities which happen in the temple is never going to break. That is why it is transcendental. Okay. So Krishna's conscience is transcendental. That means it is not affected with the force of time. With the force of time, conscience may break, but Krishna's conscience is not like that. Krishna's conscience is transcendental in nature, and the sound which comes from Krishna's conscience is also transcendental in nature. And the effect which this conscience will offer is also transcendental in nature. Now, one of the beauty of Krishna's conscience or Krishna's anything is depends upon the person how the effect will be. For example, Krishna, he touched the head of Dhruva, and immediately Dhruv Maharaj, small boy Dhruva, he got all the transcendental knowledge. Same Krishna in the form of Balram, he touched one personality, his name is Romharshan, and he died. Because Romharshan, he was not behaving properly. He was not respecting the respectable personalities. He was very proud. So Balram, he just touched and he died immediately, just by touching. Similarly, Krishna as small child, just very small child, couldn't even able to crawl that time. He just touched the cart under which Mother Yashoda laid him sleeping. He just touched the cart with his leg. He could not crawl, but he could just lift it. He just touched the cart with his small leg, and immediately that cart crumbled. That cart was some kind of demon. So that cart crumbled and died. That demon died. So this is the power of Krishna. So Krishna's touch is transcendental. It can do so many activities. Okay. So Krishna by his touch can kill. Krishna by his touch can empower someone with knowledge. Krishna with his glance can create the whole material world. Just by his glance, he creates the whole material world. And Krishna, just by his glance, can diminish someone like that. So this is Krishna's power. So this is transcendental in nature. So Krishna's conscience is transcendental in nature. It is not material. Okay. So Krishna's conscience is transcendental, and Arjuna's conscience is also transcendental. Why Arjuna's conscience is transcendental? Because the conscience which Arjuna got was also not normal. It was also given to him by the demigods. And second point is why Arjuna's conscience is transcendental, because Arjuna used his conscience always in Krishna's service. So because it is used in Krishna's service, and any service to Krishna is never lost, it is transcendental. So Arjuna's conscience is transcendental. All of you are sitting here and hearing. This activity is transcendental in nature. It will never be lost. I am speaking about Krishna, it will never be lost. It is transcendental in nature. So even our speech, our hearing, it is transcendental in nature, as long as it is for the pleasure of Krishna. So Arjuna's conscience is also transcendental in nature. Okay? Because it is not going to be deteriorated with the force of time. The nature of this world is dukhalayam ashashvata, miserable and temporary. This is the nature of this world. Any activity or any object by which we are doing the services which are in the service of Krishna, that means it is beyond the time. Krishna is beyond time, any service to him is beyond time. So it is transcendental. So this word transcendental will come many times in the scriptures. So we have to understand what does it mean. That's why I gave so much elaboration. Please read the purport.
In contrast with the conscious, in contrast with the counsel blown by Bhishma Deva, the counsel in the hands of Krishna and Arjuna are described and transcendental.
Wait, so Bhishma's conscience is not transcendental. Krishna and Arjuna's conscience is transcendental. Why Bhishma's conscience is not transcendental? Because Bhishma is blowing the conscience not for Krishna's service, for Arjuna's service, for Duryodhana's service. So his conscience is not transcendental. It is material. But Krishna and Arjuna's conscience is transcendental. Read.
The sounding of the transcendental counsel indicated that there was no hope of victory for the other side because Krishna was on the side of the Pandavas.
Wait. So as I said, transcendental means it is not affected by time. It is not going to deteriorate with the time. This is transcendental. So Krishna is blowing his transcendental conscience. It is not going to be lost with the power of time. That means victory will be on Krishna's side. On the other hand, Bhishma's conscience, it is going to be defeated with the time. It will be lost with the time. So Bhishma will be defeated. So like that. So Krishna's blowing the conch shell itself signify that he will be victorious. And other side will not have any hope of victory. Read further.
Jayastu
Jayastu Pandu Putrana Yesham Pakshe Janardana. Read further.
victory is always with persons like the sons of Pandu because Lord Krishna is associated with them.
Wait. So victory is always with the person who are associated with Krishna. Pandavas are associated with Krishna, so they will win. So anyone who is associated with Krishna, they will be victorious. However, victory is not as per our understanding of victory. Anyone who is associated with Krishna will be victorious. Abhimanyu was associated with Krishna. So he is also victorious, but not in the manner the way we think. We think that Abhimanyu should have won the fighting by remaining alive. But he was dead. But still he is victorious. So anyone who is associated with Krishna will be victorious, but the definition of victory, the understanding of victory will be not in our terms. So then what kind of victory we are talking about? Victory means one is ultimately liberated from the bondage of this body. You may win the war, but still you remain in the bodily condition. What is the use? So in the Bhagavatam, there is a fighting description between Indra and Vritrasur. So Vritrasur is a very powerful demon. So powerful that Indra with his whole army would be afraid of him. and he would not have courage to fight with. Indra got the best of the weapon, Vajra, from the bones of the Dhichi Muni. But still he was not having much courage to fight with Vritrasur. And he was running away from the battle. But Vritrasur ran behind Indra and swallowed Indra along with his Vajra inside his body. Now Indra had no choice than to fight. If you are completely caught up inside the body of the enemy, then what to do? Then you have to fight. So from inside the body, Indra started fighting with Vajra. He didn't die. He was alive, just like when the python grabs someone. So sometimes python just swallows. So the person goes inside the body. Of course, in the python body, because of the poison which is there in its body, that completely uh, that completely destroys the body, and that's how python finally eats it. But in the Trasur body, Indra went inside with the Vajra, and then he was trying to cut the body of Vritrasur from inside with his Vajra. And he was cutting, cutting, cutting. Finally, he came out. And that's how Vritrasur died. So, who won the battle? Vritrasur, he just swallowed Indra and then remained silent. He has killed. But finally, who won? Indra won. So, this is the situation. But according to the scriptures, I mean, our calculation is of a different type. But according to the Shukdev Goswami, who is describing this whole story, according to him, Vritrasur, he won. Because after swallowing Indra, he just started meditating upon God. War is over now. He was simply meditating upon God. He was completely full in absorption of God. And in that absorption, when Indra was successful in cutting his body, his soul was absorbed in Krishna. His soul went to Krishna. So Vritrasura was liberated from the bodily condition. But Indra, in spite winning the war, he remained in the bodily condition. Vritrasura went back home, back to Godhead. Indra simply remained caught up in this material world. So, who got the victory ultimately? Vritrasura. So, this is the ultimate victory. Okay, this is the ultimate victory. That if we are associated with Krishna, we will get surely this victory. As far as the victory in this material world based on material calculation is concerned, that is Krishna's choice. If it is good for us, he will give. If it is not good for us, he will not give. So Krishna gave the victory to the Pandavas because Pandavas were religious person. By giving them victory, Krishna is establishing religion in the whole world. So Krishna is blowing his conch, that means victory will be of the Pandavas. What kind of victory? Of course, that is transcendental in nature. But Krishna also gave them victory by making Yudhishthir as the king of the world because Krishna wanted to establish the religion. Okay, read further.
Victory is always with persons like the Sukha. And and wherever the Lord is present, the goddess of fortune is there because the goddess of fortune never lives alone without her husband.
So everyone wants a fortune in their life, isn't it? And they may be worshipping Lakshmi Devi to get good fortune. But without worshipping the Supreme Lord, if you are imagining to get the fortune, not possible. That kind of fortune can't stay with you because You are not associating with the Lord. So Krishna is personally there along with the Pandavas, and thus the goddess of fortune is also there with the Pandavas. Okay, so we should be simply worshipping the Supreme Lord, and then Lord will provide whatever we need. Sudama Brahman, he was so poor, but still he did not ask the Supreme Lord some material opulence. He never asked. He only wanted to serve Krishna. He only wanted to have loving reciprocation with Krishna. And Krishna, by his choice, gave Sudama so much of opulence. So we should never desire separately some kind of opulence from the Supreme Lord by keeping ourselves away from the Lord. It is not wrong as such to desire material wealth from the Supreme Lord. But it is definitely wrong to desire material wealth without without taking shelter of Lord. Again, I will make the statement. It is not wrong to desire material wealth by taking shelter of Lord. But it is definitely wrong to desire material wealth without the Lord's shelter. Ravana, he was trying to grab so much of wealth and opulence without the shelter of Lord. So he lost everything. On the other hand, Dhruva Maharaj, he desired to get the wealth and opulence by taking shelter of Lord. And he is still glorious. Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, they all had their empire at certain point of time and they all got defeated. Dhruva, he got his empire when he was just a small boy of age 5, and still he is there as a great empire, isn't it? So that is the difference. So one should desire, first of all, one should not be interested in material wealth. That is the top of situation. One should be interested in Lord's service, not taking anything from the Lord. I want to serve Lord. But if you are not on that level, fine, desire from the Lord by seeking his shelter. That is better. Okay. And when you will desire from the Lord, then you will become devotee of the Lord like Dhruva. Okay. So read further.
Therefore, victory and fortune were awaiting Arjuna, as indicated by the transcendental sound produced by the conscience of Vishnu or Lord Krishna. Besides that, the chariot on which both the friends were seated had been donated by Agni, the fire god, to Arjuna, and this is indicated that this chariot was capable of conquering all sides wherever it was drawn over the three worlds.
Yeah. Just like fire, it burns in all the direction. So this chariot was given to Arjuna by fire god. That means it has power to burn all the directions. That means it has power, as it is stated here, that it is capable of conquering all sides. Just like fire, it burns all sides, it conquers all sides. Like that, this chariot had the power that whichever direction it will go, it will conquer the enemies. The chariot itself had that power. And of course, seated on the chariot was Arjuna and Krishna. Next verse. Panchajanyan Rishikesho Devadattam Dhananjaya Pondrang Dadmo Mahashankham Bhima Karma Vrakodara. Next person, the translation.
Lord Krishna blew his conch shell called a Pan-
Panchajanya.
Pankajanya. Arjuna blew his the Devadatta and Bhima, the voracious eater and performer of Herculean tasks, blew this terrific conch shell called Pandora.
Hmm. So the names of three conch shell are mentioned here. Krishna's conch shell is Panchajanya, Arjuna's conch shell is Devadatta, Bhima's conch shell is Pandura. So why Krishna's conch shell is called Panchajanya? Because Krishna he got this conch shell. Conch shell are there in the sea. So there was one demon, his name was Panchajanya. That demon was living in the body of conch. Inside the conch there is a living entity. So that demon was of that type. And he was having this conch shell as the body. So Krishna fought with this demon, Panchajanya, and defeated him, killed him, and then he got this body. So that acted as Krishna's conscience. So this is Krishna's conscience Panchajanya. So this was demon's body. How come demon body will be transcendental? This demon's body will not be transcendental. But when it came in touch with Krishna, when it came in the service of Krishna, then it became transcendental. Okay. For example, a normal iron piece may be iron, but when it comes in touch with the magnet, it may start functioning as magnet. So like that, demon's body is not transcendental, but when it came in touch with Krishna, it became transcendental. Okay, Arjuna's conscience is called Devadatta because it is given to him by Devas, demigods. And Bhima's conscience is called Pondra because it has a very, very loud sound. Very loud sound. That is why his conscience is called as Pondra. Read purport.
Lord Krishna is referred to as Rishikesha in this verse because he is the owner of all senses.
Yeah. So the master of all our senses is not we all. It appears that I am the master of my senses. Yes, you are the master of your senses to the limited degree. For example, you can lift your hand up, isn't it? You have that power. You can run with your legs up to certain speed. You can lift the things with your hand up to certain weight. But if I ask you to lift, let's say, 80 kg or 100 kg, then your hands are not having that much power. So then how come you are the master of your hand? It's the same hand, you cannot lift the 100 kg. That means you are not the master. You are master only with limited degree. So how come you are master with limited degree and not the full master? Because the one who is the original master, he gave you only limited power. He gave you only limited power. For example, someone may be someone may be the in charge of, let's say, attendance in the class. So he is in charge of attendance in the class. He has that much power. How he has got that much power? Because class teacher has given that power to that student. Isn't it? Someone may be in charge of administration of the city. Why he is having that much power? Because the prime minister of the country has given that power to him. Isn't it? So like that. So we are all having the limited power because it is awarded to us by someone higher than us. So Lord is the original master of all our senses, and He has given us a limited power. So we may be the master, but we are exercising our mastership on a very limited level. All right. So we should be never proud of our skills and abilities which we can do. Today I can do so much. Tomorrow something will happen and I cannot do anything. So we should always understand that Krishna is the master of senses. Indra was thinking, the all the planets are getting rain because of me. I am the one who provides the rain to everyone, isn't it? So he became very proud that because of me everyone is surviving. He became very proud. He became so proud that he forgot that Krishna is the one who has given him that power. He became so proud. So then Krishna understood that he is having this problem. So Krishna told all the Brajbasis, don't worship Indra. In our terms, don't give any taxes to the some minister, something like that, who is cheating like that, who is having problem. So Krishna told Brajbasis, don't worship Indra. So Indra became angry. Then Krishna lifted the and Indra, out of anger, he started pouring so much of rain to destroy Vrindavan. But Krishna lifted Govardhan and all that destructive power which Indra was exercising was nullified simply by lifting of Govardhan. And Indra lost all his power. And finally, Indra understood that Krishna is my Lord who is giving me the power to reign. So, in this way, Indra understood his position. So, similarly, we should understand our position. When Indra is under the shelter of the Supreme Lord, then who are we? So, we should also understand our position. That whatever abilities I have, it's all because of the mercy of the Supreme Lord. So, Krishna is the master of senses, not me. Krishna is master of my body. Krishna is master of everything, whatever I think as belonging to me. Krishna is the original master. Okay. Read further.
The living entities are part and partial of him, and therefore the senses of the living entities are also part and the parcel of his senses.
Wait. So my existence is not separate from Supreme Lord. Just like existence of finger is not separate from this body. If I cut this finger, then this finger will not be functional as it is functioning now. So existence of finger is with the body. Similarly, my existence is within the existence of Krishna, just like existence of this finger is within the existence of this body. My existence is within the existence of Krishna. If I cut this finger, no one will call this finger as functional. It will be dead entity. So similarly, my living existence is within the existence of Krishna. So just like finger's existence is within the existence of body, so control is with the body for this finger. Control over this finger is with the body. Similarly, control over my functioning is with Krishna. So if control over my functioning is with Krishna, and control over all my senses also will be with Krishna. So this is the logic Srila Prabhupada is giving, that we all are a part of Krishna. Just like finger is part of this body, Similarly, we all are part of Krishna, and thus the senses belonging to my body are also part of Krishna. So Krishna is saying that I am part of Shilpa is saying, I am part of Krishna, and my senses are part of Krishna's senses. Like that. Okay. Read further.
The impersonalists cannot account the senses of living entities, and therefore they are always anxious to describe all living entities as senseless or impersonal.
Read. So impersonalist people, they are having the wrong understanding about God. What is their wrong understanding? Their wrong understanding is that God is without personality, without any form, without any any qualities. Supreme Lord is all pervading, without any personality, without any qualities. This is their understanding. And because they are saying that Supreme Lord is all pervading without any form and qualities, so they cannot attribute the existence of senses within the Supreme Lord. Because senses means eyes, nose, ear. And whenever we talk about the eyes, that means different colors to see. That means qualities have come. And they are saying Supreme Lord is without any quality, all pervading. So that is why, according to the impersonalist, Lord is senseless. If Lord is senseless and we are his part, so we are also senseless. That is the impersonalist wrong understanding. That is why they say, according to them, all the senses, this is simply illusion. That is their wrong understanding. That it is simply illusion. It is not the reality, it is illusion. Okay? That's how they talk in their philosophy. Read further.
The Lord situated in the hearts of all living entities direct their senses. But
Wait,
he,
again I've heard. Lord situated in the hearts of all living entities direct their senses. So dog is there or cow is there. As soon as cow is seeing the green leaves, cow is happy to eat. Cow sees some flesh, not comfortable to eat, isn't it? So who is directing the cow? Another question. An ant. You have kept a you have kept sweets in the kitchen, hidden from everyone in the family. You have not told anyone. How the ants knows? How the ant knows? And exactly it is hidden, so hidden that you cannot see, even you cannot see it unless you remove other boxes around. But ant, it knows, it goes directly to that box. How the ant knows? Who is directing the ant senses to go to that box and eat the sweets? Who is directing? You have not told anyone. Someone should be directing the ant. That is Supreme Lord. So if ant senses are directed by the Supreme Lord, similarly cow senses are directed by the Supreme Lord. The senses of all the living entities in different bodies are directed by the Supreme Lord. So what about human being? Are our senses also not directed by the Supreme Lord? Definitely. All our senses are directed by the Supreme Lord. But there is one difference. What is the difference? living entities in other bodies, their senses are fully directed by the Supreme Lord. Living entity in human body is given some independence. Living entity in human body is given some independence as per the direction of the Supreme Lord. He only is directing, but he has given independence also. Just like you can walk, Lord is directing your legs to walk, but you have a choice where to go by walking, isn't it? So in our case, Lord's direction is there and our direction is also there. I decide to go for satsang. I decide to go to theater. So like that. So Lord's direction is also there and my direction is also there. Now, my direction is within limits. If I decide that I want to run with the speed of tiger, and it's not possible. Lord is not going to sanction it, isn't it? So certain limited directions I can offer to my body, whatever Lord has allowed. Beyond that, it is not going to work. Beyond that, if I try, I will break this body, isn't it? Let's say I decided I will run with the speed of tiger. Then what will happen? I will injure my body, isn't it? Like that. So Lord's direction is there and my direction is there, and my direction is within the purview of Lord's direction. Whatever independence Lord is offering me, that much only I can direct, not more. Like that. Okay. So yeah. So Lord is situated in the hearts of all living entities and He is directing our senses in that manner. Okay. But we also He has given some power to each one of us also to direct our body. And again, different human beings are given different limits of directions. Okay, not every human being have same power of direction given by the Lord. Some have good ability to color, to draw something and color it. Some have good ability to sing. Some have good ability to organize. Right? The different members are given different directions, different independence, different power. Isn't it? That is why all human beings are different. Isn't it? Like that. So Lord is directing each one of our senses, and He has given us certain independence so that we can also direct to certain degree. Read further.
But he directs in terms of the surrender of living entity, and in the case of pure devotee, he directly controls the senses.
Yeah, very good point. So Lord has given us independence. Why He has given us independence? Because we wanted it. So He has given us the independence. So with our independence, we can choose to function away from Lord, or with our independence, we can choose to serve the Supreme Lord. So in the case of pure devotee, they choose to function fully in the service of the Lord. They choose to function fully in the service of the Lord. So because they are choosing to function fully in the service of the Lord, Lord is fully controlling their senses for that service. But in the case of people who are not devotee of Krishna, who are not surrendered to Krishna, Lord is not fully directing their senses. He has given independence. To pure devotee also has given independence, but pure devotee has offered his independence under the service of the Supreme Lord. Just like father has given 100 rupees to child, use it as you like. And what son does? He offers back that 100 rupees to father and tells him, you decide how to spend this 100 rupees. So like that. Lord has given independence to pure devotee also. But pure devotee, he offers back that independence to Supreme Lord only to engage in his service. So then Supreme Lord controls his senses or pure devotee senses fully. That means devotees, they are doing everything as Lord desires. Fully Lord is controlling their senses. But as far as non-devotee, Lord is directing their senses to certain extent. And beyond that, they are choosing their own independent mind. Understood? So we should try to become pure devotee. Whatever Lord desires, that I will do. Now, how to know what Lord desires? By reading scriptures, by associating with the devotees. And in simple words, what Lord desires, He says that whatever you do, He has said in Bhagavad Gita, whatever you do, it should be offered to me with love and devotion. Yat karoshi yadashnasi yat juhoshi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat purushamadarpanam. So Krishna is saying that whatever you do, you offer it to me with love and devotion for my pleasure. So this is what we should be doing. Then we are simply following the will of Krishna. Then we are functioning like pure devotee. So we all can function like pure devotee. If we try to please Krishna fully, we are functioning like pure devotee. If we are trying to please our own mind and senses away from Krishna, then we are not functioning as pure devotee. So choice is ours. And we function as pure devotee, we receive Krishna's shelter, we receive Krishna's protection, we will be happy. If we function as non-devotee, then we will be miserable. If child is in the shelter of father, child will be happy. If child is away from the father with his own independent choices, child will suffer misery. He will have to struggle for his life. So better take shelter of Krishna and do the will of Krishna. We will be happy, satisfied. Whatever we need, Krishna will offer. So in this way, we should take shelter of Krishna. All right. Read further.
Here
Here,
on the here on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, here on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the Lord directly controls the transcendental senses of Arjuna, and thus his particular name of Rishikesha.
ah, so Krishna's name is Rishikesh. Ish means master. Rishi means senses. So Krishna is Rishikesh, this master of senses. So Krishna is actually everyone's. Krishna is actually the master of everyone's senses. But because we wanted independence, so Krishna is given independence. So he is not fully becoming master of our senses, though he is fully the master. He is not functioning in that capacity. But as far as Arjuna is concerned, Krishna is fully functioning as the master of his senses. So his name is given here as Rishikesh. So at this point, I should stop. So further clarification, I will speak in the next class. So, of course, more elaboration is required because all philosophical points were clear. If I just go ahead like that, then it is not good. So this much explanation I will need to give if it comes. Okay, and that's how you will understand Bhagavad Gita, isn't it? And of course, I can just read translation and explain also, but then understanding the purport is also important. Okay, so we will continue like this. But as you are reading, as you are hearing Bhagavad Gita, you are already capturing the message of Gita. We may not have covered even one chapter, but I am assuring you that you have understood, or at least I have spoken the message of all the 18 chapters of Gita. Though we have not covered the 18 chapters, but I have already spoken to you the message of all the 18 chapters of Gita. But how that message is being conveyed to Arjuna, that we will hear as we progress further. Okay? Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anyone wants to ask anything, you may speak.